Welcome to the Political Matrix News. Politics, people, local, regional, national news. Political Matrix News keeps you informed. We have the sources, we have the truth from inside the Political Matrix. Hey, welcome back to the Political Matrix blogcast. We're doing this on Wednesday, the 20th of March. I guess this is the first full day of spring. It sort of snuck in. That old vernal equinox snuck in on Tuesday night late. Everybody's going, oh, it's first day of spring. No, this is the first day of spring. And depending on how the orbital rotation is, guess what? Sometimes the 21st is the first day of spring. Go figure. I'm Rob Milford down in Orlando. Good to be with you again. Scott Miller, not related to me, is on the other side right there. He's holding down the fort in Pensacola. The man in the middle that holds all the strings and makes things happen, that would be Greg Fink, staging out of Gainesville. Guys, suppose they gave a presidential primary in Florida and nobody came.
Well, some people did show up. Not very many, though. I think we had 20% turnout.
Okay.
Out of 5.1 million voters for Republican primary, we had 1.1 million show up. Nikki Haley actually did very well. She not compared to Trump, of course. Trump got 910,000 votes, or just a little bit above that. Nikki got 155,000. But the governor, our wonderful governor, got
Ron
41,000
DeSantis,
votes.
who won with what,
Ron
60% of the vote.
Everybody else is ass. Everything else. He just won every election, but he only got 41,000 here. And so, it is what it is.
I was thinking about voting for Chris Christie just on general principle.
Well, he did get some votes as well.
Well, there were like 6 people, 7. Vivek Ramaswamy was on there, and one of the governors who got out early, and then some guy I never heard of.
Right.
Who didn't make any of the debates. It's like, how, huh?
There's always someone you've never heard of.
Well,
I may run for president one year just to have my name on the ballot.
I think Rick Allison actually did that in Arizona one time. Rick Allison, for anybody who doesn't know, is a Pensacola publisher, and he has his own broadcast and everything else. And he actually ran for president in Arizona.
He does mornings at WCOA radio, a job that, by God, I should have had, but it didn't work out that way. I don't figure this. He's a good old boy from Mississippi. What was he doing in Arizona that made Arizona run him out of town and get him to Pensacola? There's the real story, right?
Well, the real story is that he didn't live in Arizona. He lived in Florida, and he wanted to make he was basically, the whole idea was, he was talking about how easy it is to run for president in different states. And so that was part of the whole idea.
Okay, not bad.
Hey, Bridget's point. He actually did pretty. Right. He got some voice too.
We had some carpetbagger in Pensacola, Escambia County, who got elected as a county commissioner, but he was wanted for fraud and fake bankruptcy and not paying his bills in Mississippi. And somehow he got elected one time, and then he got reelected. How does this happen?
Doug Underhill. How does it happen? Because that's because a lot of the voters usually not pay attention or believe a lot of the data that comes out about the candidates. I think a lot of people think that the campaigns are so much soap opera and entertainment now. A lot of them really have a hard time wrapping their heads around things that are really true, seeing that they're out of this world true, but they really are. I mean, Doug Underhill really is the sort of person that people talked about him being, but people thought that it was, there's no way he could be that way. I mean, and so they were surprised. And at the end of the day, everything ended up being true. And everything about Doug is what Doug is. I think Scott has a lot of familiarity with Doug. I think they were involved in a few lawsuits together. And so,
together, or one side was suing the other? Which is it?
I don't know. Scott, maybe you should explain.
I sued him because he was publishing things on his Facebook page about me that were patently and provably untrue. I mean, he called me a criminal. He said that I was stealing land from a minority people in a minority neighborhood. And I'm like, I'm sitting there thinking, man, how can you say things that you know aren't true? And what I found out was because of this qualified immunity that they give people like that. He can say literally anything that he wants about people, even when it's with actual malice. And
right, and he became commissioner with a big badge.
He's county commissioner. They shot my lawsuit down before they heard the first fact.
You are a private citizen. You're not running against him.
We're in DeSantis, Florida. Well, back then it was Rick Scott's Florida.
It has nothing to do. It has nothing to do with anyone but Doug Underhill and the judge that heard the case. Because and frankly, it's a badly written law that will allow people to evade responsibility for this simply because they're elected. I understand there being a higher standard, but when it's actual malice, when he knows that what he's saying isn't true and he's saying it simply to score political points for himself at my expense, then we should be able to hold him accountable. He can just do it.
All right, so that covers that. Now let's push on. DeSantis even had a news conference today. He said, "Well, that's the way it goes. The majority of the Republicans in Florida want to give Donald Trump another chance." And he also took a jab at Nikki, saying, "We can't go back to the old Republican guard of yesteryear, a repackaged form of warmed-over corporations or corporatism," my new word for the day, corporatism, that Nikki Haley represents. So pretty fat. Wow. But by the way, Scott, did you vote yesterday?
Why would I vote yesterday?
Well, yesterday was Tuesday, and we record this on Wednesday.
I'm sorry. Yes, I voted yesterday. I'm sorry. I was. I'm sorry.
Okay, Mr. Fink, did you vote yesterday?
No, I was actually a little too busy to vote yesterday. Actually, by the time I got to my phone location. Wait.
You called me at 8 o'clock in the morning. Hold on. You called me at 8 o'clock in the morning. You've been to 3 polling places. A grand total of 12 people had voted?
Exactly, yes. And I was not one of those 12. I was actually working with a few other campaigns. And I was working at all the different precincts around the county. And by the time I got back to my part of the county, they had moved my precinct from where it was previously listed. And I did not get the notification of it being moved. By the time I got there, they were already closed. And so, I mean, our notification issues here that the county is having with their citizens there were quite a few precincts that were moved and altered for this election, and they were not given the message about that.
Sounds like a lawsuit. Sounds like a lawsuit to me.
It has to do with a lot of the voting irregularities we're having here in Letchworth County.
I got you. All right, this is the political what?
There were literally no one when I went in to vote, and this is how discombobulated I've been the last few days anyway. Between Monday and Tuesday, I worked 27 hours. So I was lucky to escape work long enough to show up across town to go vote. But there was there was no one there.
Now, as they say in your industry, if it has to get everything gets done at the last minute, but you managed to stretch that to 27 hours. We will be back with another element for the Political Matrix blogcast in just a little bit. Click there. And Greg Fink, what's the website for everybody to check all of these things out?
Yeah, our new website is politicalmatrixnews.com. We have these blogs going up or being uploaded. We're also going to be having articles from other people as well. We encourage everybody to go ahead and join in. This is a podcast, reply, comment, write an article. I mean, it might get published, and we're just going to have a lot of fun with this, and we really look forward to you guys joining us.
Mighty fine. We'll be back with the Political Matrix blogcast.